Lacework Forti CNAP Cloud Infrastructure and Entitlement Management demo. Today, we'll walk through an example incident using the Lacework Forti CNAP console and the new Entitlements dashboard. In our scenario, our fictitious company, Interlace Labs, has brought on board a new contractor to help with dev efforts on one of their latest projects. The operations team creates a new instance with the organization's standard EC2 instance profile assigned. The new contractor logs into the EC2 instance and begins his work. He spins out a new example application he'll be using for a demo later in the week. After doing this, he leaves the app running and he's done with his day. A few hours later, the security team receives a number of high and critical events from Lacework, indicating the contractor's newly provisioned instance has been associated with some suspicious activity. The first event the incident response team looks into is this critical alert here for reverse shell connection. This alert provides context like the machine instance ID, the host, and the instance name assigned. Under the Exposure tab in the alert, we can see the instance has 4 critical vulnerabilities and 1 discovered secret. Additionally, we can see that there is also an IAM role associated with the instance. In the Vulnerabilities table, we can see the associated vulnerabilities are for Java, specifically the commonly exploited Log4j vulnerability. In the Exposure polygraph, we click the IAM role link from the instance. This is where we find the associated instance profile, the EC2 Profile app. A cursory review of the policies associated show DB access and EC2 described tags. Expanding both, we can see that the DB access policy contains a lot of permissions, including access to SSM, KMS, and RDS. After reviewing this alert, incident responders now know that the instance was likely compromised by a Log4j exploit. They can also determine that the immediate risk of this host compromise is that the instance profile allows SSM, KMS, and RDS API access. From the IAM policies view, incident responders also obtain details like the associated RDS instance, where create DB snapshot permission is granted. At this time, there isn't any evidence of any action taken with these permissions, only that they are assigned to the instance profile. The second alert the incident response team reviews is an anomaly event related to the new usage of AWS API services. Reviewing the alert provides details like the instance role, which happens to be the same instance role identified in the reverse shell connection. In the table below, we see both the instance role and the instance itself listed as the principal ID. In the Details tab under What, we can see that both RDS and KMS services were used to call create DB snapshot and create grant, respectively. Incident responders now know that the reverse shell and service usage anomalies are related. A Log4j exploit was run, and subsequently, the instance profile was used to connect to the RDS service to execute create DB snapshot. This is a common first step for attackers who are attempting to exfiltrate database data from cloud accounts. To gain deeper insights at the IAM level, incident responders can now use Lacework KIM via the Entitlements dashboard. They can click the EC2 profile from the service anomaly alert. In the Explorer view for the EC2 instance role, incident responders can see that it's being flagged as high risk, linking 2 risk categories for both resource exposure and read of potentially sensitive APIs. Additionally, they can see that only 44% of the resources entitled for this role were used, and 63% of the services were used versus what was entitled. Clicking in shows the specific risk categories for the profile, including allows resource exposure, allows secrets read, and allows storage read. In the Entitlements tab, incident responders can see all of the services associated and which services are used. Using the drop-down on the top right, incident responders can switch between the June 3rd and June 4th snapshot, showing only the EC2, KMS, and SSM permissions were used. On the 4th, we can see a change in that the RDS and IAM services are now additionally marked as used. A full review of the permissions for RDS, RDSDB, and KMS shows this instance profile was over-provisioned access, allowing end-to-end RDS access, snapshot, and export permission. Additionally, the instance profile allows SSM read of potentially sensitive parameters, DB connection details like DB host, name, username, password, and region. As a final step, incident responders begin a review of the contract user itself. Reviewing the contract user shows that it's been granted full admin access at the cloud level, and our risk categories indicate that there are AWS API credentials hard-coded. To view all hard-coded credentials within their organization, the team can use the hard-coded active API key filter. Under the Remediations tab, incident responders can review the recommended actions for this contractor user. Specifically, we see that the recommendation is to remove administrative access from the contract user, as these permissions aren't being used and haven't been used in the last 180 days. This same remediation activity can be used for the EC2 profile as well. Having all of the context required to remediate, the incident response team moves to disable the affected instance and remediate the excessive permissions on the instance profile and contract user. As an additional step, the security team launches a new security initiative to review and right-size all permissions. The team will use the Entitlements Explorer to sort by high-risk identities and target identities with low usage versus entitled permissions. This will help the team prioritize their work and focus on risks that matter most. And that wraps up this demo. Thank you for watching.